Yeah, Jason Blade versus Dgrazian. Game 1. Dgrazian spawning as the lawn coats in the west versus Jason Blade spawning as the common folk in the east. Dgrazian choosing his trusted wolf, Jason Blade going for the boar. Dgrazian has the Skmole, Squimole, Squall composition, Squizzard, Squirrel Mole composition. You know, Jason Blade going for the Squizzo composition, Squirrel, Lizard, and Crow. Crows are apparently really good masked, so they are kind of like a tier 3, apparently. I have not managed to use them well myself. On the tier 2 front, Jason Blade has a classic Falcon Cam combo, one of the more dynamic duos in the game, and Dgrazian has the same but has the snake on top of it, which will counter Jason Blade's boar really nicely. But Jason Blade also has a lot of tier 1 which do counter the snake. So in a late game battle, the player's macro will determine who will win. Ooh, Jason Blade expanding and Dgrazian doing a classic quick mole counter. If Jason Blade does not leave, he should be able to catch the mole. Kill the mole before it kills the... Ooh. Yeah, deals a little bit of damage. Oh no! Dgrazian unfortunately rallied all instead of microing only the moles and rallies his squirrels to their death. But likewise, unfortunately for Jason Blade, he overcommits and loses some lizards for free. So in the end, I guess it was a relatively even interaction, neither player losing or gaining that much. While Jason Blade is stacking up, ecoing up, Dgrazian is stacking up into some cams. Jason Blade countering with some tier 1, flying tier 1 of his own. That's not how you say it. Just countering with some air units of his own. Meanwhile, Dgrazian is doubling down on his chameleons. Chameleons should be able to destroy everything Jason Blade has on the ground, but they cannot shoot air. So depending how many squirrels Dgrazian has left at the end will determine who wins the fight. Ooh. Dgrazian starts stacking into his own falcons and starts expanding himself. Meanwhile, Jason Blade goes into some chameleons. Jason Blade not really doing anything with his lizards, not doing any flanking. He really can't. There's only one entrance really into Dgrazian's base. Dgrazian gets a nice deep scout, sees there's no sneaky tier 3 going on, which will result in him ecoing up and catches up on the economy. Jason Blade is going for a nice scout, but unfortunately passes right through the army. Does survive though and scouts the eco switch. Even out the eco on his own side. And he will try for some sneaky chameleon plays. You'll have to see it. It's a little bit obvious if you know what is happening. Ooh. Yeah, should not have been holding the rally button. Should have just pressed it once. Otherwise it's super obvious what is happening. Luckily, Jason Blade does not lose the commander and survives. Oh, Dgrazian going full 8 farm hog. Meanwhile, Jason Blade doing the same. Jason Blade waiting for his 180 foot to start building a boar. Drops it down right after the scout. Meanwhile, Dgrazian also goes straight into tier 3. Yo, Jason Blade doesn't actually go into tier 3, goes into Falcons. It's a big misplay, you always want to go tier 3 as soon as possible. And that's at least before you, or at least directly after you 8 farm your natural. I mean, there's a relatively nice choke point here, so maybe he's planning to eco up even more, but I don't know about that. Ooh, Dgrazian has a huge sell-off, maxing out on his Falcons. Jason Blade might be trying to pressure a little bit. He does have the army advantage right now because of the food caught up in the wolf. Snipes nice too, warns, but the mill tanking might be decisive over here. Ooh, a lot of mill tanking going on right now. But Jason Blade still has more army. The reinforcements coming in though. Ooh, does lose the... Ooh, sells off the wolf. I don't know about that. I mean, he was a bit locked in. So maybe it was smart, but you're going to lose anyway now, so... He had a huge army advantage, air superiority. Just demolishing Dgrazian right now. All Warren's dead. And even losing his last pigs right now. Jason target firing the mill, that's not going to work. Well, I guess it is going to work because Dgrazian has nothing left. And with that, Jason Blade takes game 1 off of Dgrazian. Let's go into game 2. Dgrazian spawning in the east side of the map as the long coats, and Jason Blade in the south side of the map playing as the common folk. Both players keeping their decks. Dgrazian adding lizards instead of snakes, like we did see in the previous match. Interesting switch, unit switch. Neither player has a easy expansion, and both naturals are super close to one another. So this looks to be a quick game, one base game. There is a campfire which might be decisive in this match. Both players just farming up to 8 farms. We might see some high ground abuse on Jason's side. I would not be putting these warrants this close to the high ground. This is super advantageous for Dgrazian. Dgrazian. Meanwhile, Jason Blade could be exploiting this high ground a little bit. There is a pathway here, and he could rally his falcons to deal some damage, to snipe some pigs. If he thinks of that, that would be a really good move. Jason is stacking into falcons. Ooh, Dgrazian selling off, going into quick wolf. No, double cam. Will Jason's Blade air superiority win him the match again? I mean, with these two cams, the cliff abuse here becomes even more attractive. With the Falcon out, will he try for the cliff abuse right now? Will he move out? Not really. Ooh, 6 chameleons now. Absolute huge force, but if Jason Blade has his forces in the air, that will not do much. And Dgrazian realizes that and goes into some falcons. And will double up probably. Ooh, actually goes. Yeah, Falcon. Both players just building up right now. I would be really suspicious of a ninja base right now. And Dgrazian decides to buy one. Right about now. Neither player dropping down a tier 3 yet. Both players even in the army. While Dgrazian is triple farming on his ninja. Jason Blade is thinking of expanding, maybe. Ooh, and Dgrazian is posturing a little bit in the middle of the map, trying to make Jason Blade nervous so he doesn't scout his ninja base. Dgrazian scouting for a ninja from Jason, but Jason has none. Ooh, and Jason expands naturally. Ooh, doing a bit greedy hog farming on his mill. This means Jason Blade does have the army advantage right now, but he does not know that. He thinks he's the only one expanding, which means he's misplaying a little bit right now because of his outdated information. Incorrect information, rather. Jason should really be scouting right now, but... Ooh, he's too scared of Dgrazian's army, which is sitting right next door. He knows if he moves out, Dgrazian might kill him. Jump on him. He doesn't want to lose a game to something like that. But you have to scout, otherwise you'll just lose to something like this. Ooh, but Jason Blade is trying to push. If he catches Dgrazian in this choke point, he might be able to win the fight, which would end the game. He has to get the chameleons to the front. Ooh, oh no, hesitating a little bit, doing a little bit of jerky movement. Ooh. Relatively even trade, but Dgrazian does win. And with a huge economic advantage, Dgrazian is in a huge lead right now. A huge lead. Squirrels standing over the blood splatters of their former comrades and enemies. And Dgrazian goes to finish the job with his max squirrel army. And with that, Jason Blade takes a blade to the heart and loses game 2. Dgrazian equalizes the score. Let's get into game 3. Both players keeping their decks, satisfied with what they have. This time we get a little bit of a better map for expanding. Relatively safe natural for Dgrazian. Kind of safe third, I guess. And a relatively safe natural for Jason Blade. On a little small passage over here leading to it, which could actually be super exploited by Dgrazian's lizards, so it's not really that safe. Ooh! Jason Blade squirrel rushing. And by squirrel rushing I mean squirrel defending against Dgrazian's lizard bash. Ooh! Dgrazian seeing that exposed pig, knowing it's a good time to attack. Ooh! Manages to trade 2 lizards. 2 lizards for a pig, that's a good trade. Take it any day of the week. And Dgrazian is free to farm up right now. Ooh, Jason Blade actually sells It's also warrant to start farming up. I would not be farming up the corner pick first. Start expanding from the sides, buddy. It's a bit of a misplay, honestly. And Dgrazian is safe at home. Getting more farms. This pig is totally exposed. Dgrazian agrees. He will try to snipe it while it's building. Sees it finished. Sees that it's finished, which means it has more HP and decides it's not worth it. He will take his advantage and eco up even more. Jason Blade is behind on eco a little bit. Putting his squirrels too much in front, they can easily get caught out with these lizards and sniped down, and he's even further away from his backside of the base. Dgrazian cleverly uses that one backdoor and easily gets 60 food worth of pigs for free in exchange for one lizard free. Dgrazian had a huge advantage right now. Jason Blade getting completely clowned on by Dgrazian's mind games. And at this point Dgrazian is just building more army, getting even more squirrels. Dgrazian will try even more snipes. When these farms start building, they will have only 1 HP. 60 food right over there. And he got one squirrel, that's again 20 food advantage and tempo advantage for Dgrazian. He's basically just snowballing at this point. And now he has even more squirrel support. Meanwhile, Jason Blade has to keep rebuilding his farms and doesn't have time to build any army. He's just falling further behind. Dgrazian does start teching. Teching 101. Doesn't want to keep throwing away his troops into a defense. And starts getting an advantage through eco. I mean, tech. Not eco. Scouts everything. And sees Jason Blade is super poor. Dgrazian trying to find any sneaky stuff from Jason Blade, but sees nothing. Goes into some falcons. This is allowing Jason Blade to rebuild a little bit. He's still behind in army value, but the relative advantage will be shrinking, which does give Jason Blade the advantage, or at least the ability to come back. Not exactly an advantage. But he does have a really defensive position here. If he is greedy and buys this farm, this mill relatively quickly, he will be easily able to shut down this choke point and easily able to defend on this high ground. But he must be greedy. Dgrazian just casually taking the campfire to get slightly ahead and taking a ninja so close to the enemy. Jason will never scout this. Dgrazian floating huge amounts of food right now. Going into the tier 3. At this point, Jason Blade really is still behind in army, even with that money drop. Does actually scout the ninja though. Doesn't really matter though. Sends the chameleon to take care of it. The 5-minute mark has passed. So Jason Blade will start to feel the starvation timer soon. Decides to expand into this corner base. And Dgrazian gets a real expansion. Jason Blade knows he's on a timer. Does not know about the wolf, but knows about the... He doesn't even know about the campfire, man. Really bad scouting from Jason Blade. And Jason does at least start going up, so that secures his future at least a little bit. But with the wolf coming out soon... Ooh! Scouts the campfire. Takes care of it at least. If he attacks now, the wolf will not have time to buff. When fighting in this choke point, ooh, his army going around the mill. Bit unfortunate, but looks like the positioning was barely good enough. And manages to win the fight. Quickly, macro down the wolf. Macros down. Oh, Dgrazian missed macroing his wolf into his enemy. He could have totally defended this with the wolf buff. Losing that wolf madness actually allows Jason Blade to take the win. Dgrazian taps out. A huge comeback from Jason. Unfortunately, Dgrazian was not leveraging his early lead enough and throws his victory away. Really unfortunate. Keeping your army in the middle of the playing field like that when your tier 3 is about to come out was not the smartest move. Jason Blade on a match point right now. 2-1-1. Let's get to game 4. Will Jason Blade be able to secure his victory in this match? Or will Dgrazian equal the score and will we get a game 5? Jason Blade keeping the boar, keeping his deck. Dgrazian keeping his deck as well. Jason Blade has absolutely no expansion close to him. He will be forced to one game it, 1 mill it to the end. Unless he secures something in the middle, but these are so easily scoutable. It's just not a good look for Jason. Meanwhile, Dgrazian does have a relatively secure expansion here, but this one isn't that defensible either. You can be cliff abused so easily in this one. And this choke, if you get caught in it as the defender, will not be good for you at all either. So neither player really having that great of options for expansions. But the map definitely favors Dgrazian more. Huh. Early Falcon from both players. No Squizzard actually. This is also easily cliff abusable right over here. Jason Blade could totally exploit that. Ooh! Jason Blade! Going into the 1 mill. Boar, baby! We love to see it. 1 mill boar is best boar. Rushing a tier 3 this early is always a cool move, even if it might not always pay off. Especially with the boar, which needs a supporting army, which you don't really have early in the game. But it's definitely can be a devastating move because he has so much HP. The enemy might not be able to do anything about it. But Grayson is trying for a freaking cliff abuse. Whew. Does not get a pick. Tries for it again. Trying his luck, but Jason Blade is on his case and defends easily. Boar already building. Dgrazian has no idea this is happening because he was wasting time with building warrants and cliff abusing. Has no idea how this boar is about to hit, but is nonetheless relatively well prepared against it with his chameleons and falcons. Unfortunately, does drop down the wolf, which will mean he will be in quite a large deficit compared to Jason Blade. Food deficit. The tempo will be Jason Blade's army advantage, is what I'm saying. Oh, now! Scouts the boar right when it pops out. You hate to see it for Dgrazian. As Dgrazian, what will his response be? Standing and accepting his death. Yeah, same. Who decides to do some pre-positioning in the choke point. I mean, these chokes are pretty good for the defender. So Jason Blade totally just sitting at home, wasting his tempo advantage. Like, what? What is he doing? The wolf is building for Dgrazian. If Jason doesn't move out, this will like turn against him really fast. Like, he needs to go immediately, please. Please, Jason! Wolf is 50% out. Jason Blade waiting for like 2 moles for no reason, while the wolf is building on the other side. Wolf is 45% out, 75% out. Ooh. But the boar shreds everything. And Dgrazian loses his last mill. His first mill. And taps, knowing there's nothing he can do against the boar. Jason Blade giving me a heart attack. Choosing to delay to the last possible second. But manages to take a game 3 and wins the match. Congrats to Jason on his 3-1 victory.